You okay?
You can do it.
Life is an adventurous journey. It is full of ups, downs, and everything in between. It will not be perfect just because you follow Jesus. We know that sin was brought into this world through Adam and Eve's original sin. This in turn makes us more susceptible to sin. It also means that sin is in this world regardless of how much we desire it not to be. The devil will tempt you to sin, not God. Also, our inclination to sin will cause us to struggle. In James 1:13-15, it tells us this. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it is conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. We learn that most of the struggles and complications that come our way is through our own desire to do what we want to do. God brings all good things, so we know the difference between that and things that are put forth to confuse and harm us. In James 1:17, it tells us this. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. God does not change, so we can be certain this is true. This life will be challenging and chaotic. However, it can be easier when we keep our focus on God and have our community to encourage us. This life was never promised to be perfect. And as we read our Bible, we read story after story of struggles and suffering from many who follow God. Jesus himself had suffering and pain. Why do we think we will not? The sin that was brought into this world causes this. However, in it all, we can find our strength. The struggles we face humble us, remind us who God is, and teaches us. Therefore, it says in James 1:2-4, Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. We count it as joy because we know that through it all, we will prevail, learn, and grow stronger in our faith and hearts. When we go through the struggles in life, we learn what to do and what we shouldn't do. We become humble and stronger as we learn in our struggles. We learn to lean on Jesus and His truth. We learn our hope is in Jesus and all that He can do, has done, and is doing, and not lean on ourselves or others. This makes us wiser and draws us closer to God. The struggles we go through may be useful in helping others through their struggles. It has been said that smart people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from others' mistakes. Our community will help us, and in turn, we can be the community for another who is struggling. Sometimes this may mean we are to sit in our feelings of what we are going through. Our feelings are something God gave us to help us, and it is a process that can't always be rushed, and we need to learn how to manage them. This may mean we are to continue in the struggles a bit longer than we would like. Realizing the tension that you feel may be something to take note of and process it through completely before moving on. However, we are not to stay in the hurt or pain because staying in it keeps you in it. You should be learning and growing from it and not just staying in the suffering of it. It is not easy, and please do not interpret it as insensitivity, but know the outcome will always be worth it. Remember that we are saved by Jesus, and through Him, we know that this world is temporary and heaven is for eternity. We know all the stresses, pain, suffering, and sorrow will end eventually, for heaven has none of those. We may never see the results of our struggles or how it influences others, because God's plans are so vast. However, we can trust Him to use it for good. Our steadfastness, our commitment to His truth keeps us going even when it seems this struggle will never end. We must keep our minds and our hearts on Jesus and what He has for us. Keep our minds focused on the good that does come to us from Him. The Bible and our community of like-minded believers will help us with this as well. When we focus on Jesus, the gratefulness of what He has done for us, and the goodness that has come and will come, then the temptations are easier to avoid. Now, this does not mean that we will never struggle with sin or that we won't be tempted, especially by our past life before Jesus. Sometimes that life before Jesus helped us see that we needed Jesus, but it doesn't define us. It doesn't make us who we are. When we are born again, it means that our life in Jesus defines us. God tells us who we are. Not anyone or any circumstance can. We get to be who He says we are, and that is how He sees us. So you are strong enough to overcome your past failures. You are a wonderful creation of God. Just like a child who stumbles and falls, we will as well. But we would never dismiss a toddler learning to walk because he or she falls a couple of times. And neither will God. Our failures can be learning experiences to teach us to do something different. Realizing that the rejections are God's protection for you. And if you truly believe that His ways are best, you can rest assured that there is something better out there for you. We also need to remember to pray for God's guidance and help in our struggles. He hears you and will guide you in the direction that will be best for you. Remember, praying is just talking with Jesus. It is like talking with someone who loves you no matter what. You know this because of all He has done for you. Matter of fact, He knows you and has seen how you truly are and still chose to save you. Still chose to keep you, still chose to die for you, and no matter what, He will always be with you. That kind of love is God. So do not think you cannot come to God with everything. You can know He will help you with it all. We can walk fearlessly in life with this knowledge, but not blindly. We will not always know what may lie ahead, but know that with God on our side, we will be okay. Also, come what may, we will always have Him and His promise of eternal life in heaven.